okay. That wasn't it.
Okay, I'll call the meeting to order. Anybody second?
Second.
The minutes, approval of minutes, we have somebody who will approve the minutes
Motion
from,
that we approve?
anybody second?
Second.
All right. Any public comment?
Dan?
No.
The library report.
They're not here. We were here earlier.
Should I?
Maybe she's at City
Was
Hall.
here? Yeah.
Was anybody else at
For
the?
the seniors, but they left, so I assume they weren't able to come. I didn't hear from them.
All right.
I would like, regarding the library, I'm sorry, follow-up comment that I had from last meeting. I had spoken to her. The library, I live in Silver Lake Towers.
Mhm.
The library does not come there because we're in Silver Lake, she said. No, we're not. I pay taxes to Stowe. I live in Stowe. I vote for Stowe. So if somebody would communicate that to them more
Yeah.
thoroughly to make sure, because, you know, you got 200 units in there that would benefit greatly from the bookmobile, please.
Mhm.
But I was shocked, and I know, they said the original, when they first built the corner, built the two buildings, the original corner up there along the road is Silver Lake. As a matter of fact, my license plate registration says Silver Lake on it, which I called just Columbus and got it changed. Didn't mean anything, but still. But yeah, that's obviously a bit of confusion.
Yeah, because even after, I believe that kind of got talked about, I actually had to make sure that was,
I think Amanda was gonna look into
Yeah.
that. She was gonna go back to the library and look
Yeah.
into
I
that.
thought, you know, but City Hall can dictate to them and say, yeah, that's right, and
mhm. Okay, perfect.
thank you.
That's a good point.
And do we have any other fringe areas that are like that over time that have
Yeah,
gone in or out of different
I mean,
communities?
Bookmobile is a great asset. I mean, truly. I mean, I know our seniors really enjoy it. They do a nice job, you know, at all of our different community events and stuff that we have, so. Yeah, it would be nice to get them over there, absolutely.
Thank you.
Okay, next item on the agenda is the Parks and Recreation Department.
So, I wasn't sure if all of you get our Fun Buzz newsletter. Do you guys get this to your email?
Yeah,
The Fun Buzz one, now that one's
Oh, okay.
through
Yeah.
the Parks and Rec,
Yeah.
that's different than your
I
senior
know.
newsletter.
Yeah, so
No.
I would encourage you
I
guys
do not.
to,
I
you
don't
know,
get it.
okay, I would definitely encourage you to get signed up for our email list. Everything gets sent out through Constant Contact. And it's in addition to, you know, our senior newsletter, this is more of like Parks and Recreation related. And so it gets sent out the 15th of every month.
So where do we sign up from?
You can call City Hall and do that. We could even probably.
You can
put
go on the City of Stowe website on there and just
It's
type
on
in.
there.
What's it called?
It's called the Fun Buzz, so it's the Parks and Recreation newsletter. And then the mayor actually sends one out the first of every month as well. So if you do have to register for both of them separately, just because people's interests are different, you know, and we don't want to send you what you don't want. But it is kind of a wealth of information of different things that the Parks and Recreation Department do. So for instance, we do have our annual Glow with Stowe event that's coming up, which is our tree lighting event. That is on Saturday, December 6th. That's from 5:30 to 8:30. That one is just kind of a family fun, you know, all-inclusive type program that we offer. It is completely free. There are food trucks that are available for purchase. But, you know, we bring Santa Claus, we have stilt walkers, we do, you know, train rides, you know, just neat things for family. And as we know, you know, things are getting more and more expensive, so it's a nice free night, you know, if you can do it. New this year is the Mayor's Mingle and Magical Lights Tour. This one is just kind of a come walk through, see the lights, that kind of thing. The mayor will be there, we'll be passing out hot chocolates, just kind of, a lot of people want to just come and walk through. So this was one that we decided that, you know, we would throw it out there and see how it goes. Santa's mailbox is another one that we do, the Parks and Recreation is involved in, and actually our seniors are heavily involved in as they act as Santa's helpers, helping to write the letters.
Yeah.
So this year, we've got like, I think 12 different seniors that will be helping us write the letters. In years past, we have somewhere between 300 and 400 letters that come to us, so.
We have that many I have to do?
Yeah. Now, I will say 400 was on the high end, usually kind of during COVID, so we probably have closer to 300 now,
Okay.
but it is nice.
Yeah,
It's a fun,
I
it's a fun
signed up
program.
for it, so.
We also have our wine and design program, that does happen here. We have been doing this, more quarterly, and then it's kind of turned into like every other month. The wine and design it changes from, month to month. And on Friday night, we actually did the floral arranging, and so actually we've got one of the floral arrangements sitting out front right now. And then this next time around, it's going to be, a cookie decorating class, and so we actually partner with a local baker, and she comes in and kind of teaches you how to do fancy stuff instead of just facing with your knife. She
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
comes in and brings all the fancy things. As always, we do our programs with the library, our Connect with Nature programs. The next one that we have coming up is actually a possum program. It's the Awesome Possum Party. Most of the time, our library events are free to the public, so which is wonderful. Wellness, we are trying to continue to increase our wellness and our fitness programs. This time around, we are going to do a new Pilates demonstration that is gonna be free so that we can kind of just gauge interest in that kind of thing. It won't be necessarily specific for the seniors. This one, we actually did the demonstration last week. I don't recommend it to the seniors.
Still sore.
Yeah, still sore, yeah. But that one is gonna be on December 8th, and then from there, we'll decide, as far as time goes and things like that, because that is truly one of the most difficult things is times and dates, on what works for people's, lifestyle and schedules. And, as we progress into, a different sports months, switching from football or soccer to basketball or swimming, it is, people's schedules change, so. As always, we do our community yoga. Our next fall session will started on November 6th, and then we'll do a winter session that is gonna be January 8th. That's stuff for Parks and Rec. You wanna move it? Should I also do senior center? Senior center, probably our biggest thing right now is we are working on the January and February newsletter. And with that, we are working on a new survey. We haven't done a survey in a few years, probably maybe 3 at least, I would say. Might even be longer than that, but just to gauge what are the kind of incoming newer seniors, current members, things like that, what are they interested in? Every year it changes, but we want to make sure that our programming is tailored to them. We don't want to tailor the programming to us because that's not necessarily what the seniors want. So sometimes we can't do what they're asking for. I know one of the biggest things is, can we have a billiards table? No, we cannot. We don't have the space for it, and honestly, the acoustics in here are not fantastic for a billiards table. So there are some times, that I just have to tell them, no, unfortunately, we're not gonna do that. And as many times as you put it on a suggestion sheet, it's just not gonna happen. But if you need suggestions on where to play billiards, I could probably help you with that, So we are working on the next newsletter along with the new survey. We are looking to hire a new seasonal recreation aide that is going to help us kind of with our front office type things. That person will also be able to go on trips with us and, help with expand our programming as we move on. This year we had over 800 members at the senior center. Right now, I think we're a little under 300 with renewed memberships, so we know that we'll get, up closer to that number.
Did I hear you're just in the process of renewing membership?
Yes, yep. So that, the membership fee will stay the same. Will still be that $5 membership fee for everyone, and that will allow us to know who's in the building, making sure that everyone's waivers are up to date, everyone gets the newsletter mailed to their house. So it's so far, everything's been working. We've got, 800 people that are.
So if we're a member already, we should get
You will not get the January and February one if you did
Okay.
not do your 2026 membership.
I've already done.
So yeah. you
So I owe you $5.
should. Sure, that's correct.
Good.
Mhm.
Is that available on the web too?
What'd you say?
Is that available on the website?
It is, yeah.
I'll tell you how I found that out. My wife was here playing mahjong.
Okay, yeah.
And I think you were here. I
I
think
may
you
have been.
threw her out.
No,
It was
no.
after 3:00.
Oh, yeah, that's possible. That is possible, but no, yeah. The way that our newsletter or our membership works is you get 3 times to come as just, a community member. You want to try it out, you want to see if you like it, you want to see if you like our programs, but those are for free programs. So things like mahjong, dominoes, cards, things like that, trivia, brain games, those kinds of things. You can come 3 times to those types of programs, and then after that, we're going to ask you to pay.
Yeah, she did offer to pay, but because she was with a woman who was pretty handicapped and they were trying to get her out.
Oh,
And she offered to pay, but you said pay next time.
oh, yeah, yeah. We're pretty easygoing with those kind of things.
I know in yoga class, several of the people said that they would like to see line dancing.
And I'm working on getting a line dance instructor. I think I've got 4 different people that I have called.
Okay.
So, yeah, that is definitely
Okay.
on the forefront, because we know that fitness is something that's important to the seniors. And not only fitness, but functional fitness that is
Yeah.
going to be able to kind of help improve their balance, help improve their strength, those kinds of things.
I have another question. Are your programs, is it limited to one thing a day?
Oh, no, we've got multiple things that go each day. It just, it's limited to, how much space we have. So technically right now we could have 3 different programs going, one in here, one in the main room, and then one in the side room.
Oh, because when she was here, she told me the only thing they had that day was mahjong.
No, we have mahjong in here, and then we also have dominoes in the other room on that day, on the afternoon.
Oh, okay. So.
Yeah, and you can see that, in the newsletter, that'll kind of tell you. And some days are more busy than others, it just depends.
Okay.
On Wednesday afternoons, twice a month, we've got all 3 rooms booked out, and we've got a lot of people here.
What kind of cards are on the schedule?
Like, what types of cards do they play?
Card games.
They play, I'm gonna get it wrong, canasta. They play pinochle, which I think it's that hand
Handy and foot.
yeah, whatever.
Pinocchles, actually, they're slightly different.
Yes, so it just depends. As you come in, we try to kind of place people where they want to play. And then in the other room, this one is a little more organized, like you come in, you want to play canasta, or we also have a euchre table, that's been coming in. The other room, that one is a little more free as far as what they play. They could play 2 or 3 different card games, on any given Wednesday. And it just depends on who's playing and that kind of thing, so. But we are going to partner with Buckeye Hospice, and we are going to bring in like a euchre lesson, so that, hopefully more people that either want to play or maybe need a refresher, that kind of thing. And then we will also do the same thing with mahjong, not with Buckeye Hospice, but Valerie, who works for us, she's a mahjong player. And so we know that we've got regular people that are coming in and want to learn how to play. And so we're going to try to put focus on that so that people can, they don't have to wait for, a 4-week session. We can actually teach them the day of, on Tuesdays.
I'm not that teachable. I'm not smart enough to play that game.
Me neither.
It's a hard game to learn.
Yeah.
The only way you learn is by playing.
Yes,
It
and that's,
really is.
it's interesting. I actually told Valerie, I said,
You could
I'm not
learn.
expecting you to learn how to play mahjong when we hired her. And sure enough, what did she want to learn? So,
My
yeah.
euchre game is, my euchre club's actually meeting tonight at the Brew Breakers.
Oh, nice.
Third Tuesday of the month, I'm not gonna be there, but, third Tuesday of the month, if you wanna play. 7
Okay,
o'clock.
that's actually great to know.
It's on Meetup, if you use Meetup, but
I don't, but I know some of our seniors, they are looking.
Second Tuesday in Medina, third Tuesday in South.
All right, the next item, are we ready to move on?
Yeah, I am, yeah.
Is general discussion items. Now, I had a list of things I was gonna go through, but I heard somebody ask you, Mayor, to,
Yeah. So anyways, it's hard to believe that we'll be coming up to a year now in this new facility. And as Kathy has said, the growth in here has just been phenomenal. Starting off around 150 and now over 800, correct? Pretty close. Anyways, if you haven't heard, and it's been very successful, we started a program, Helping Hands, okay, with Stone. That has been very successful. We were fortunate we started this about a year and a half ago. It involves mental health. It involves also food insecurity. And we're looking at a city, to give you an example, we go ahead and do our senior banners. When I say our senior banners, or veteran banners. And we'll say make $3,000 off of this. And as a city, we can only give to an organization, okay? That organization has always been kind of founded on military. So like this year here, we gave $3,000 to the National Guard. National Guard unit will use it for some of their members or families, for Christmas and so forth like that. So where I'm going with this is, as a city though, we cannot go ahead and singly point out that all of a sudden, say Kyle Feldman's run across some hard times and his family needs help, okay? We cannot identify one person. We can identify as a group. So we have founded Still Helping Hands to where we are going to address these needs. And so far, it has been a phenomenal success. We really, like I said, have been working on this for about a year and a half. Fortunately, we had already had this in the works. If you haven't seen, we had actually food donations and cash started at Mark's 2 weeks ago on the weekend, and we did it this past weekend. This coming weekend is Giant Eagle. I can tell you right now, we have probably collected about $35,000 in food and about $10,000 in cash, okay? So it's an excellent thing that we can go ahead and do this.
So it's gonna all go through Helping Hands.
Yes, correct. It all goes through Helping Hands, which goes through the Stillwater Falls Community Foundation, so it makes it kosher all the way through. That being the case is, and Donna was saying, you know, as we look into 2026, what is the vision of this group, or what would you like to see come out of this somewhat? The biggest thing that I look at is our growth has been from 150 to over 800. Okay, we have a lot of new members. That being said, we identify in, Mr. Feldman will tell you, in our schools, we identify very well through Bulldog Bags, people in need, things like that. With our growth, and it's a tremendous thing to see the growth, and I want to continue to see the growth, is how do we go ahead and help these people, these seniors that are in need, okay? Whether it's food insecurity, whether it's mental health. We do have a mental health coalition that I set up about 4 years ago. So we're able to respond along that way. But again, it's getting that word out to our seniors of saying, we're here and we've got the tools to help you, whether it's food insecurity, whatever. Like I said, the schools have done a great job in the fact of, really it's Bulldog Bags that have identified these people. I know many of you have volunteered for it in the packing and so forth like that. But to give you an idea with SNAP benefits, and this was actually shocking to me, SNAP benefits affect 17.5% of our population, our residents. Wow. So I think that would find very shocking to people here in Stone. When I say that, these aren't just, okay, there's 4 individuals in a house and we're counting all 4. We're saying 17.5% of residents, residential properties, whether it's apartment, whatever, are receiving these benefits. That's huge, okay? Going from that point, 79% of the people in Summit County that receive SNAP benefits or some type of aid do work, okay? So most of the time they'll work 2 jobs. So it's more of how can we go ahead and help people and get into that to where, how do we, if you go to, and I would invite you to go to the website and so forth like that, with Helping Hands, with the QR code, not only can you donate, but you can also ask for assistance anonymously, okay? But which leads me to the next thing of, we're having a tremendous issue in, if any city or any business is saying they don't have this issue, they're not being truthful with themselves. And that's communication, okay? Even as we sit around this table, different age groups, as far as that's concerned, how are people receiving communication? This is a tough one. We now probably, if the guys move a little bit faster, we'll have electronic sign by the 1st of December. I don't know what's taking me so long up front. But anyways, it's gonna be more of a blunt thing of saying, here, check out our website, do this, do that, and so forth like that. One thing, and why I brought up also too, this Helping Hands, is this is how far disconnected we are as far as communication, clear across the spectrum of everybody. We know we sent out so far 3, we're gonna send out some more this year just on different subjects, postcards in the mail. How obsolete, but they're reading them, okay? They are actually reading these, and the reason why we know is they're showing up at Mark's. They're showing up at here and saying, here's our food, so people are hungry for information in the days of hearing, I hate this ghost century, I hate this and that, it's wet, it's just, they welcome it back right now. I can tell you that right now. They would welcome it back. So what we're dealing with now is all these different age ranges of how do we reach them. So we have our senior newsletter and so forth like that. I am, excuse me, also volunteering to you, if you guys want to look at communication through postcards and things like that to the seniors, we can help you do that. It is a very nominal thing. We can hit 14,000 households in our community with information for only about $5,500 each time. And that includes postage. So, I mean, that to me is world of gold. If I can help somebody who's struggling with hunger, mental health issues, or anything along that way, or tying it into our senior center here, because it does tie into mental health. Getting people out and about, telling what our programs are and things like that. So I guess my biggest ask of you guys is how can we go ahead and work together as a city through Kathy and her crew of, we're getting the information out somehow because we have 800 people that enrolled this year in our senior center. So the information's there. We need to get a little bit more in depth though of where we're going with this. And we need your help to get out there because when there's 17.5% SNAP, EBT benefits or whatever, 17.5% of our seniors
That's
are
a lot.
experiencing the same thing. So we have to, it's shocking, not in a good way, but it's shocking, but how do we as a city address that? And I think through you guys, whatever, and I'm happy, and I talked to Kathy this afternoon, I'm happy to go ahead and work with you on any of this, communication-wise of getting this out there, of how we can go ahead, number one, promote our senior activities, because first and foremost in the senior center is that mental health piece of it. And we're coming up into some dreary times, January, February, March. We're also sending out one, you'll see our mental health coalition sending one out in the next week, and it's about the holidays of mental health and things like that. How to make yourself feel better and things like that. But we're willing to go ahead. I want to work with you on this of how we can get this out because this age group right now, I can tell you, we have not tapped into this age group. I don't know who the people are. Like I said, we know names and faces, that's fine, but we don't know
Yeah, but
how to help.
I think that the postcards is a great idea. Do you have addresses where you just said you don't
We
know?
blanket it.
Oh, you
we
just
can
blanket the
pinpoint.
city?
Now, with the company that we work with, the marketing company we work with, we can pinpoint 55 and older, or whatever you want to do. We can pinpoint that. So, like I said, we can pinpoint along that way of these type of things. And, you know, Kathy knows, working with Park and Rec team and whatever, we can do that kind of thing. But that isn't the only way. I'm looking for ideas from you guys of how we can go ahead and do this.
So my question is this. Let's say we, the senior commission, send out a postcard.
Yeah,
Now, some of the seniors are very tech savvy, some of them aren't.
correct.
Do we have a phone number that the seniors could call, whatever we're saying on that thing, okay? Do we have a phone number? If a senior calls in and says, hey, can you send me the newsletter? Do we have that in place today?
So we have the Parks and Recreation phone number, you know, but I would say, you know, as far as like helping hands go and that kind of thing, it would be a different phone number.
Okay, because I'm just thinking, you know, we may highlight some great things and, you know, here's the web link and everything. But we also need to have that spot there that they know, that senior related hotline, and if it is Parks and Rec, whatever, that's fine.
Yep.
And with the helping hands piece, that would actually go to the mayor's office, which would go to Brook Huff. So like I said, it would, you know, again, this communication piece, it's very interesting. We're talking QR codes, we're talking things that people might not be using or whatever they won't use. Phone numbers, postcards, this is where we're at right now. And I really don't see it clearing for another 10, 15 years. And by that time, something else is gonna be new out there.
As a person, you know, being a realtor in the mass marketing that I do at times and stuff, I don't care what I pay for, the best response I get is usually off of somebody picking it up out of their mailbox. If nothing more, they see my name, my face, my number. So if they see Stowe, senior commission, and if that's all they get, at least senior commission is now registered. So
Right.
I fully think postcards would be a great way, since we have the resource at a reasonable price.
Right, and then I think you could also, like I said, we're blanking the whole city for $5,500. We can target more into where we need to be, but there can be different things out there that you can have a survey even, or whatever, going along that way. And you might have to have paper survey there at Stowe City Hall that you can pick up. You can have it online. Again, right now, we are so across the board as a country, as a world, I think, that it's hard to say, how are we communicating with people? My biggest fear is people also, with that shocking fact of 17.5% of falling through the cracks. That's my fear right now.
Yeah,
Okay? And
That's
my
not
fear
good.
right now is also too, we all know, and that's a good piece of this world right now. We have to address mental health, okay? There's nothing wrong with that. But it doesn't mean that I have to show up at senior center and say, you know, I'm not feeling good. No, it's joining in a program, getting to know, but giving that invitation of come see us, you know what I mean? Putting a name and face behind it, you know, come and see Val, come and see. This is the whole thing of making it personal, that people, when they pull up, one thing that was very interesting, I learned from Salvation Army, and this was, we're gonna pilot a program in January with around our 6 cities of, like on a Saturday for food, because it really is a real thing. A lot of people, I never thought about this, won't show up because they're afraid. They're afraid of how they're going to be received. And I think it's that personal touch now. Yeah, but also too, if I go to the senior center, am I gonna know anybody? Is there these cliques that only John and Donna are playing cards or whatever? We need to make this a welcoming place.
Well,
And we're not advertising mental health, I'm advertising, come and be part of it.
Socialization.
right,
Yes.
and that's a good point, but I'll make a point here. When my wife was here that day, that was the first day she had been here. And she and our friend sat down at one table to play mahjong. They were by themselves, and all of a sudden, another lady came in and said, "Can I sit with you?"
Right.
And the people, she said, the people were very friendly, very receptive, everybody in the group. You
But
know?
it's getting her through the door to where she feels
Yeah.
comfortable too. You know, I've dealt with some younger people that have, say, their grandparents or whatever, and say a spouse passed away and they were military. So they wanted to go to the VFW, but never went, didn't want, I'm gonna be closed out. This is gonna be, it's the fact of making it more friendly. You know, not that we're not friendly, but extending that thing out. Have you ever visited our senior center? Have you know what I mean? And those, because really a lot of people, I'm always shocked too of how many people, I'll say that as negative, live under a rock. They don't even still know the senior center exists. But again, we need to go ahead and get these people out. And that's also too, where Kathy's gonna be able to learn what programs are wanted. Because everybody's gonna become vocal, but we gotta get them here. And so we're trying to tackle a bunch of things at different times. And the more we get to know people also too, yes, it will remain anonymous, but if we know somebody's in need of food or whatever, at least we're giving them the ability to reach out to Brooke, to go online, to do whatever. But I think that's the biggest is, I would ask you guys, is the reach out program.
Yeah.
Is reaching out.
And you're saying if you want somebody to reach out, you want them to contact Brooke, all right?
Well, if it would be for helping hands, if
Yeah.
not, you know,
That's what I mean.
you know,
Well, I think of, one senior, and even if City Hall set up a senior hotline
right.
that it ran Brooke,
Mhm.
but we had a senior hotline number for seniors to call.
Yeah, for any need, and then it could, or it could go to Carrie downstairs and she could divert to whatever, but having a system in place.
Absolutely.
That's the biggest thing is having a system in place because we did work, and that's how this came about with our helping hands. At least 3 to 4 times a month, and this was before I knew the figure, we'd have people, this was a very interesting community issue. City of Stowe is considered that's how we got in this conversation with Salvation Army and so forth like that.
Is she all right?
I think so. Is a very perceived that we have money. Okay, it's perceived. That's the case though. People show up
Who's it perceived by?
by our own individuals. Yeah, just like I would have said to you guys, it's 17.5%. Everybody goes, whoa, what do you mean 17? It isn't supposed to be. To give you an idea,
We're a well-off community.
what we think. 17.5% for Stowe, 19% for Cogga Falls, 25% for Akron. We're not that far away. I mean, when you start to look at it, if somebody said, let's throw out the numbers, you'd say, okay, Akron's at 40, right, if that's the case. That being the case, we have 3 to 4 individuals every month, different people that will show up and say, I'm out of food. I don't know what to do. Because they don't know how to use the system either. So it's getting them into, in a nice way, what I'm saying, use the system, getting them into the system.
So we also need to,
So we've got our box program there and so forth, but it's setting systems up in place so we can not just react, but say, here you go.
Can I ask a question? This is a detail, maybe it's premature. But could you put a QR code in this document with some kind of, user-friendly note saying that this is,
That's up to you guys. That's what we need you for, I guess is the biggest thing, is how do we move forward?
and another thing that I think we ought to do is, and correct me if I'm using the wrong number, what isn't 211, the general health of Summit County, that we need to make sure we are in connection with whatever that organization is. So hi, I'm from Stowe and I need help, if nothing more, direction into City Hall.
Right.
Whatever, but, you know, so we need to connect with that too if we're not.
So who words these cards that go out?
You come up with what you want on the card, and the elves in Park and Rec do a phenomenal, seriously, I'm telling you.
You're the
I am telling you,
chief elf.
the
I am
elves.
not chief elf on
I'm telling you, anything that comes out of there, I'm always totally taken back. It really is, it's professionally done, and then we send it out, and, like I said, we're able, with our printer, this last time around, when we first started the Helping Hands thing, when we knew we had to get this food insecurity taken care of right away, within 5 days, we had it in people's mailbox. But you have to give them the information of what you want. And then they'll go ahead, and then they can send it back to Kathy and you guys.
I think we need to have a working group and work on this project. I'd like to jump off real quick. Well, sure, we're talking about, this is a county thing. If anybody has anybody they know, anywhere in the county, Summit County DD announced just major cuts.
Yes.
Okay? It's not government funding related, has nothing to do with that. It has to do with economy of scales, cost of services, and major increase in demand of services. They are now cutting any program that's not state mandated. My wife just lost her position. She lose her job. She totally lost her position. She's in community outreach. So if you have anybody that is attached to the DD world, make sure they're okay. Yeah, because if they're using those other services that they did do, they won't be doing it. And we have a lot of it in our community where, we know firsthand through an individual, what we have, but, I just want to bring that up because.
So it's addressing these issues, so it's deeper than, I guess and this is great, this is a great thing. It's deeper than this building. Now let's use the building. Just like somebody can say, you're gonna sell your house, but I live in my home. Let's make this the home.
Yeah.
This is the building, but let's make it home.
There's a few things you brought up. First of all, like people don't want to come because they don't know anybody.
Right.
It's a chicken or egg. You don't know anybody because you haven't come.
Right.
So how do you get in there? It's like you're talking about selling a home. Sometimes you have an open house.
Yeah.
I know we've had an open house before, but if you're sending a postcard, from my experience in another community, you send a postcard, you can get all the people that are 55 and over, however you want to define that, and have an event for them to come. And then I know we do this at my church. When somebody's new and they're coming in, we have groups of people that will go up to them and not be real pushy, but just a welcome committee. And maybe giving some information, maybe this, some other information.
Again, Kathy's open to all that. We talked about that this afternoon of doing this, but welcoming, and that's where you guys also play a role to where this is the case. Do you know this is the case? Somebody walks into this building, there's nobody there to help them if we do a reception type thing.
Right.
It's worthless.
Right.
They go, it's a beautiful building, but what can you help?
Well, I think that's.
Every time we get a new member to the senior center, we have to reach out to that member with a designated message that says, thanks for joining the senior center. Are you aware of who and what we are? No. Okay, well, let us help you with whatever. But I think, we need to be proactive is what it is. And yes, I think we should have some working committees and working groups off of this group.
I think a reception, if you had a reception, first of all, you got to get the people there.
Yeah.
And then, I'm willing to be one of those people that welcomes them if we have an event, And then once you have them and you've connected with them, then to your point would be to stay connected with them.
Right, and then you're just the initial face.
Right.
But then here's Val, here's Kathy, here is Sid. This is the case. These are the people you're going to see. But it's getting them into the door to where they feel comfortable.
Yeah.
Because if you think somebody's just gonna drive in here,
No.
they're not going to. If they are, they're way past the point that, you know what I mean, that's the case. But I think we have to address this also too, like I said, in a positive way with the mental health piece of it. And number two is we get to learn a little bit more, not for our benefit, but to where they can go ahead if we find out that they have food insecurity.
Well, and to that point, Mayor, if they came in for reception, we could greet them. We could also tell them different things we offer. And to your point about people, being embarrassed, we could give them something that they could fill out.
Right.
And then honestly, or if they can talk to somebody about that, the SNAP program.
Right.
Or if they're in need of food,
You know,
or if they have a mental health
What is
issue.
the cost of this?
Oh, God, that's what you do.
Okay, we, the senior commission, need to do this for mailings to 55 and over. This program, that program, helping hands, whatever we want it, right here. Every senior will have it at 55 and over, put it on their fridge or wherever. That right there would be a great first introductory.
So how do we get the money to do that? As the
We've got
business
one.
committee? Oh, so we have to go through you then?
You have to go through me.
I can do that.
How long have you been
on?
Finance committee, right?
Around us,
Finance committee.
that in your eyes is doing this right, that we can talk to and
Yeah.
piggyback off their experience?
We are. That, is seriously, we are. This is what I'm saying, out of this, we've we've had a bunch of cities reach out to us and say, how are you doing this?
Okay.
So I'm looking to expand it, saying, this is working, now how can I expand it to make it work along this line? And it isn't just by chance, when I talk to Donna and so forth like that, this is a group that I feel that we're not hitting on all cylinders. We're not hitting on all cylinders, I can tell you.
Right here's
So I think the biggest thing is getting the ideas back to Kathy and saying, what do you want to see out of this? You know what I mean? And how can we do this? But addressing it in the way of, again, getting people out, mental health, connecting with people, getting to know people. Here's what I've learned though along this way with both mental health. That's been very interesting. The coalition that we have. And it works. Is you're better off to throw this big blanket out there and say, I'm not saying, Donna, you need help, but it goes to everybody.
You know,
So
so it
then,
does need help.
so then they go, well, everybody got this. Okay, maybe I do need this. So when Drew talks during his scam presentation, we're not there inviting people who have been scammed to say, tell me how you were scammed. We're saying, this is what's going on. Now, what's very learned to me when I've sat in those people are giving Drew stuff that he's never even heard of either. So it's a back and forth, and people then, the barriers break down. And now Donna, who maybe was scammed, goes, holy crap, I'm not the only person.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And this is the case. It causes for dialogue. And I think that's what we need to look at, is having this dialogue. Maybe there's those programs that we speak about. When I say mental health, indirectly, do you know what a half-hour brisk walk will do for you? Do you know this is a case, or being able to do this? You can put this in the shroud, that you're not saying, bingo, you need help, but rather, here, we're going to do this. And it's all the feeling, I think, is.
Can we, put together a side meeting, and I'd be glad to take the lead with your assistance, at least get a group of people, whether again, it's this group or reach out some others, maybe 6 people at most, and let's start this process. I think we need to do it, and I don't.
Yeah, I'd like to hear your report, because with geriatrics and stuff like that, what do you see, as a need, and how do we go about this?
And definitely that social connection, and people don't want to go places when they're not sure what's going to happen, and they're not sure if they're going to know anybody. So I think certainly having some activity, maybe even it's a standing, the first Monday of the month is welcome new members party or something like that, where you have your people that are going to help and support and kind of mentor those folks. But that kind of, it's okay to go because other people aren't going to know somebody. And then everybody's worried about getting dementia, having memory loss. So there's got to be some way to tie that in. Sometimes that's easier than prevent getting depressed, prevent memory loss by social engagement.
Right. But it can even be some of those things, and tying it in even further. I know you guys do the brain games and stuff like that, but getting it, you're selling something, but in the background, this is the big picture of it, I guess, is the whole thing.
Could you mention having people come in on a Monday or whatever day, but as an introduction, when you bring them in, could you just have like a presentation of the programs that are just generally offered, just a general?
You know, if we had a big Monday event here, anybody that's new gathers in this room for an orientation session, and then, you know, things like that too. Yeah, absolutely, I think that.
But I think it's the things that you have to work through with this. I'm saying, let's make this building not just a house, but a home.
Yeah.
Let's to use it for as a resource, because this is what this should be used for, as a resource. Kathy did a great job. I can tell you, when I first met her, we were looking at different things, but at Barberton or whatever, and it was that feeling. You had this feeling it's a resource. They can't put their finger on it, and you don't need people to put their finger on it. They just feel good and I want to go.
And we could maybe tie this into, you know, the job and volunteer fair that we had talked
Yes.
about. The idea was, again, it's the whole socialization. You know, our seniors, they don't want to sit at home. They don't, but they don't necessarily know what opportunities are out there. Maybe they don't want to come and, you know, sit down and play cards or dominoes or something like that.
And maybe they don't want
want
to
to-
volunteer every day for an hour.
Yes, yeah,
That's what we talked about this afternoon. Maybe part of being retired, from what I perceive, is I've got control of my own time. So if I want to volunteer for an hour on Wednesday,
really?
that's what they say.
That doesn't work that
But,
way.
you know what I mean? Maybe I have to watch my grandchild on Tuesdays or whatever. So maybe this once an opportunity time, to give you an example, and it can be on different levels of volunteerism. Kathy and I talked about this. There's people that are interested in gardening. There's people interested in there's a lot of things around our city we can do. There's people that are happy. I can tell you one big successful project that we just came out of, and it was as a city as a whole, was the Warm Up America, okay? It brought people together, but they were able to go ahead and crochet these squares and whatever. They'll be able to see them in December. But going and tying this whole feeling in of they can pick up a crochet needle if they wish to and do it on a Tuesday night, or do it whenever, or whatever that is. It can be structured and it can be unstructured volunteer hours. But I think it's the thing of getting people, they want to be active, they want to do something. They just don't want to say, let's do a crossword puzzle. I want to do something that's worthwhile. I just did a crochet piece, it's going to help somebody.
And I think maybe to tie that in is, instead of doing, you know, maybe a job and volunteer fair, we do more of a, let's call it a resource fair. of
Yeah.
some sort.
Senior fair.
You know, yeah. You know, we've always shied away from it because it tends to then be a more of a health fair and medical and things like
Yes.
that. That is not where, you know, that is not our area of expertise. But that being said, you could, you know, do blood pressure checks or something like that. But I think that all of this,
But how do you get
Ties
involved
it
in
to-
your community?
well, and that's it. And I think maybe that's where the senior commission
Yes.
could be you know, a good asset for it, because it could be that open house.
Yeah.
It could be, you know, those resources. It could be
Yeah.
that volunteerism. It could be, you know, all these different things that tie in those people that might not want to just come. I mean, we have plenty of people
Yes.
on any given day, you know, or any given week, I should say,
Mhm.
you know, that come in and say, I'm just driving by, you know, I want to see, you know, but
They need to
for
be
every one
they need to be in a
person-
group.
yes.
You know, it's like, you know, church has a community
Yeah.
group.
Yep.
Once you're in that group, that's what you're saying there, so it's more of a home.
Yes.
You know, so maybe it's a crochet, you know, it's a group that crochet.
Yeah.
You know,
But
maybe
you're
it's a
giving
group that
them a
play
reason to
cards.
do it.
Right,
Yeah.
but
You know what I
once,
mean? Here we go.
but once
We
they,
got this.
yeah, but once they come in,
Yes.
then they're tied to a group. You know,
Exactly.
it's not just they go walk around and say, oh, you have all these different things.
No.
That's why I would disagree with having it, like, I like, you know, having a reception, having a certain date on it. If you say, you know, we can do every Monday's an open house, well, that doesn't lock you in, because you know what? I'll go next week. I'll go next week. But if you know that this is the only one you're having for 3
Mhm.
months,
Mhm.
you got it right
That's
on your
structure.
calendar and you got to come out,
That's a good point.
you know?
Yeah, and that's what I actually just wrote down, you know, kind of having that new member party, you know, maybe it's
Right.
one time every newsletter, you know, like, or
Yeah.
that's what it is, you know, and you
And you
don't
don't even
necessarily know if there's gonna be another
Right,
one.
you don't need to tell people that there might be another
No.
one next quarter. This is what we're having.
Yeah.
But
So
you
then
can
they
send
mark
these
it down.
postcards out with this type of thing.
Right, exactly.
And
Yeah.
we need to sell this facility in this, what we're trying to accomplish is a vibrant, active thing.
Mhm.
You're not here just to play cards or whatever. If you want to go ahead and volunteer and you want to go ahead and do this, because the reason why I say this postcard works, there's no way that we could have collected right now about $35,000 worth of food.
Mhm.
They weren't gonna walk up to City Hall and say, here's food. They weren't. But there was a call to action. And the call to action was, we need this. I can tell you, the city of Stowe, by far of anything, you put a call to action out there, they do it. They do it. Kathy, I think, was just brand new when this happened, and I know Deanna remembers this. The tornado that hit Kentucky about 5 years ago, I want to say. And I reached out to the mayor of that town and I says, well, what do you need? Do you need clothes? Do you need water? Do you need, it's a week before Christmas. He goes, we need toys. He goes, all of our stores are ruined. All of our houses are damaged. Toys are gone. But guess what? December 25th still comes along
Mhm.
and kids still, Santa's there. So what do you do? Well, the generosity of this community, I'll never forget that. 5 days we put together something that was just so ragged. But in 5 days, we filled a semi to the brim and TTR Shipping drove it down there.
We made a difference.
Because there was an ask. If we wouldn't have asked, everything's okay. And we are that way of a community, and it's okay. But this is your job to empower them and say, we need reaction from you. Because I can tell you, if you ask for a reaction, you're gonna get it.
Yeah.
I can tell you that. You won't be disappointed on the action part. I can tell you.
And when you read things about seniors, and I'm sure you know this better than I do, but okay, you're retired, but you still, one of the big goals is to give back, is to do something for somebody else, and that's what brings you happiness.
Right.
And so once we get them in, if we can see all the different things we have,
Yes.
and then get them in a group, and then once they're in a group, and there's other things that come out, like, you're having a toy drive or whatever
Yeah.
it is, I think you'll see seniors want to do that.
Part of it, yeah. I mean, Donna was part of it, and you can go ahead and really, I think it was really cool. We had our first ever Halloween bash, and how popular was it? We had 500 kids, but explain the excitement of that day.
Yeah, we just, it was one of those, it was just amazes what it actually was. And I was one of them that I dressed up like a witch and I sat.
Was that the costume?
Wardrobe.
And I was gonna say, that's a stretch. And I'm not the mayor, I'm not running for that. Yeah.
But we handed out, at each station, we handed out candy. And so we would kind of boo the kids
Mhm.
and thank them for coming, and they were just
That's
really outstanding as far as the
Yeah.
kids that were there,
Yeah, and then it's
excellent.
fulfilling for you.
Yeah.
I mean, it's two-way.
But it was a good feeling. When
Yeah,
Donna
right,
left,
right.
she did something great that
Yeah,
day. And she
exactly.
didn't do it for that reason, but it was a
Yeah.
good feeling. And again, you can't sell a feeling.
Mhm.
You can make it, and that's what we need to kind of make this, I guess. So that's what I would, and long and short of this whole thing, empower you to make this a home
Mhm.
is the biggest thing.
I think that's.
That's the biggest, and that might sound small, but that's no small task.
Right.
It's not.
But I think one of the things we need to do too is actually volunteer to help the recreation group do some of this
Yes.
stuff.
Oh, yeah. I
As
agree.
as the senior citizen group, council, not, we shouldn't put it all on
No.
you.
No, we don't have the resources.
No.
I mean, I'll tell you first and foremost, and I say this all the time, that park and rec department, I don't know how in the hell they do it. I really do not know how they do it. Seriously, and I don't say that as a joke. I really don't know how they do it. So they can use that support of, we can come up with these programs, but I need people to help them along that way. They can do the background work and make that, but I need to have that.
I think a couple things you just said a little bit ago, though, is we as a group, this commission, I don't know if we have a mission statement or whatever, and I mean, not to get bogged down by that, but I think we need to develop that identity of who this group is through a mission statement or identity statement, whatever, and then use that to drive down to do these things.
It was kind of tough before, because Kathy and I, we've all talked about it. We had a house, it held 47 people, okay? Very restrictive. Now, really, the world is our
We
oyster.
have a house that has how many people?
47.
Oh,
And now have a house up to what, 300?
Yeah,
200,
tell us.
So what I'm saying,
Yes,
and back to Roger's comment, you can run 2 or 3 programs. Before, you were lucky if you could hold one. So we're sitting. So how do we use this building?
And do we still have use of that other building? Are we gonna continue to have it for use, or are we gonna drop it? Okay.
So, just to kind of recap, I'm just thinking of some, action items, postcards to seniors, announcing maybe a reception event of some sort. Then, once they have that reception event, we have to decide what's going to happen there. And I think one of the things is to show all the different opportunities and groups and different things you can join. And when we have that event, I don't know if everyone, I would volunteer to be one of those people, if everyone wants to, is to be having a welcome committee. So when we come in, we connect with them, and then we don't let them go after they come in, but we follow up with them. If they can sign up and have a phone
Yeah,
number or something.
we should do
We gotta
that,
reach out.
and that's a good point. I think the committee should be involved. I've talked to a lot of people. They do not know this committee. So,
Yeah.
Well, it's time.
Yep.
Yeah,
It's
because
time to make it happen. We now have this.
But the timing's perfect, because again, Kathy and the crew do not know the full potential of this building. And that's why we've been very cautious of how we use it, because we can't say, okay, on Tuesday nights you can meet here and whatever. It's still growing. You're going from 150 to 800. That's like going from 25 miles an hour to 150. That's where they're dealing with right now as Warren Street.
Mayor, one question about the postcard. You had sent out postcards before, you said.
Yeah,
Who got those postcards? Because
everybody.
I don't remember receiving.
You should have.
Oh,
I don't remember if she did.
I got one,
Yeah.
with the Acme and.
Yeah.
Marks and-
Yeah.
Two.
Yeah.
Well, I shouldn't
See,
say.
that's part of the problem is you're gonna have a little bit of fall through on that
Yeah.
because
And might have gotten
it's
one that didn't.
4th class mail, okay?
Right.
4th class mail, they have 4 days to deliver, okay? And it's dependent. If Donna's a postal carrier, I'm a postal carrier, I might decide to do mine on Monday, you could do yours on Tuesday. It can end up in catalogs, it can end up anywhere. So it's more of a mass mailing type thing.
Right.
But I can tell you it's getting in the hands because we know, because we're getting the reception back off them.
Right.
So again, it can't just be one postcard and
Right.
done. We can't do
Let me-
that, we have to look.
Let me ask you this. I don't know, Drew Riley would know, and you probably do. If we had a mailing, a list of these people, could we call them also and tell them about this event if we're having a reception? Are we allowed to do that? Because I don't know about the phone numbers,
It's a lot of.
giving
a lot of-
people's phone numbers
lot of
out.
work.
Now
See, we
everybody
really
has
don't know when we mail out,
Yeah.
that goes to a mailing house,
Right.
it's 55 and older, we really don't know who it went to, it says a
right.
household of.
I got it.
yes.
I got it. So, and
But I
then-
think once you get them in the door.
Right. We gotta get in the door. That's the first step. And, like, if this reception, I would think you'd want them to RSVP it, to have them commitment, there's some
Yeah.
kind of.
You
commitment.
need to know
So-
how many people are
And so
coming.
the RSVP it to me would have to be, having dealt with seniors in another community, some people don't have internet, seniors, some do, but they have to have various ways to be able to connect. Maybe an email, maybe a phone. Some people don't want to make a phone call. A lot of people don't anymore, and they want to text or email or a website or something, but, have options that you could have for them to connect, with,
Right. And I think that's what you guys have to look at, because
Right.
going back to my point, how in the hell do you reach people right now?
Yeah.
I really don't know.
Yeah, so
If I did, I'd be a billionaire.
I'm
right now.
gonna throw something out here just for anybody to answer. What's the next step?
That's where you guys fall
Yeah.
working with Kathy.
could we use it, what is that quarterly newspaper that comes out with teachers' talent?
Cemetery.
Also material.
Couldn't we use that to get some information out? Or just a general look about helping
Most
kids?
people don't know that exists yet. At least the
but it's
people in
another-
my circle.
I only know it because I live in Silver Lake Towers and there's a stack dropped every time they come out and but I'm aware of it now around the community. By seeing it, now I am aware of seeing it other places, so.
We need
Well,
to
that-
find ways to
you-
make it-
And you get.
Can I defer for just a minute? I had gone through a list of some things here, and some of them may intertwine with what we're saying, I'm not sure, but, the one thing they already told me is off the board, we talked the last time about transportation suppliers, and they said we can't do that.
Yeah, that's a full-time job, from others,
So
yeah.
I'll take that off, but, we had also talked about a public information officer, Kyle brought that up, with respect to senior citizens, the senior center activities. Now, is there a public information officer, or is there some way to get a public information?
I'm gonna try. It's not in the HR report for next year, which we have a couple council members that, I don't wanna spend money, but I think it's important to have somebody, and the mayor just said it 3 times. How do we get the information out? Well, a professional will be able to tell us, do this, do this, do this, and do this.
Yeah, but we can't wait till next
I
year for
know,
this.
but I'm gonna bring up
Well, this
legislation.
year we can, like I said, we've got tools that we can use.
Yeah,
We can
and
do it
this
this
isn't,
year.
I mean, this is something that it's a long time coming, so
Yes.
it's not something that
Yes.
we want to rush into,
Right.
you know, like, let's start with that, you know, reception and,
Test
try, you know,
Yeah.
bring people in, you know,
Right.
possibly the postcard, you know, like, those kinds of things, because the next
Because you don't
thing-
wanna overwhelm them either. If
Yeah.
you overwhelm them, and it's,
you know, this group seems to want to make
yes, a difference.
positive change.
Yes.
You know, yeah, you know, which is
Well-
great, and that's what we need, but understand also that, you know, we need you guys to kind of be that driving force, and then we are the backup help, you know? Because this.
We're the financial support and everything else in the backup help. But what ideas you have, but then we also need, like you said, we also need the help of saying, okay, yeah, I can be here from 2 to 4 and I'll welcome people.
You know,
I'll do
and
this.
with that too, you know, keep in mind, this is a volunteer committee,
Yes.
you know? So
Yeah,
if
we
you
don't-
say,
yeah.
I'm okay and I wanna volunteer, you know, an hour a week of my time, you know, to research or to, you know, helping plan it or, you know, whatever it is, or, you know what, I'm good. I come to my meeting, I get the information, I process it, you know, I get it out to the right people, that kind of thing. That's okay too. So we don't want you to feel like just because
Yes.
you're on this committee, you absolutely
No.
must then serve
You're
on-
not working for us.
Yeah, you know, so we want you to understand that, you know, this is what you
Except for
want
us.
to,
Right.
put in what you feel comfortable
Yes.
putting in
Right.
as far as volunteer goes.
Right.
Let's do it.
Okay, the next thing was, we talked about library programs and events. This has nothing to do with that, although maybe it could, but, I was thinking somebody could volunteer to meet with the library to see what kind of events can be added to the library monthly tech classes.
So we have,
This is all this came out of last month's or last.
so
meeting.
we partner with the library to do, you know, like the tech classes and things like that. They'll come to us, but then we also advertise for them as well in here. So that
Okay.
they know, you know, so again, I am a huge in allowing seniors to know what is going on, not only here at the senior center, but also what is going on in the community. So if, you know, for instance, Eden Vista, they do a bingo brunch every other month, you know, on a Thursday at 10 a.m. or whatever it is. If they get me that information, I'm gonna get it in this newsletter because it's important for our seniors, not only to know what we are offering, but also what are other people in the community offering for them, you know, because they're always looking for those, you know, social events and social programs, you know, that they can do. And if they're free and they provide food, even better.
I said, in this document, we need to have a page dedicated to seniors and activities and everything else. And keep in mind, we're talking seniors, put it in larger fonts so they can read it, make it high contrast, not, you know, a lot of seniors won't be able to read, can't read this, just because of their eyes condition. But I think, you know, if they knew they could turn to page 6, and this is always this month's newsletter, or quarterly newsletter, senior information, they'll watch for it.
Yeah, but this whole
And,
thing
but,
is
yeah, I was gonna say,
senior.
what are you thinking as far as senior
I
information?
don't know, maybe it's the schedule of some of the senior activities that are going on, or it's the discussion of these special things. I don't know, I'm just saying, it's a dedicated place that they will learn to turn to.
Well, we're
For something.
hoping for this, that they turn through every page, because
Right.
the whole thing is
Right.
for.
And it does have the calendar in there.
You had something.
Part of, it sounds like part of the goal, because right now we are connecting with these 800 people and you pay your $5 and that gets you the newsletter, right? And the ability to sign up early for the stuff, whatever. So it sounds like part of the goal is to grow that number, because the only way to get this is to be a senior,
Yeah,
we registered with the
Mhm.
senior center, right?
yeah.
So, you know, that's maybe a target for that postcard. Did you know there's a senior center, pay $5 and you get this, you're a member for the year. and you
Something
get the-
simple, yeah.
Yeah, you get the newsletter, because then you could also have some part of this that was resources about direction home.
That I do agree with. I think
Okay.
that having that stuff in there would
Yes.
be
For
beneficial.
adult protective services or whatever.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And maybe there's a part of this newsletter every time that's, here's important senior.
Because when I first joined, I did not know that you had to pay $5 to do it.
Yeah,
Neither did I until, what, 2 months, 2 meetings ago?
And that $5, I will say, is new.
That's only a few years.
Yeah, that's only,
Couple
and
years.
yes, and before it was only if you wanted to get the newsletter. You know, if you wanted the newsletter, we'll send you, but now, since we opened this new building, we need waivers signed, we need, you know,
Yeah.
we need to know who's in the building, you know, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
That's why we
Yeah.
need a $5 membership.
Okay, I have one more item, and this does relate to what you're saying. And it's come up every meeting, the last several meetings, and nothing's been done yet. I don't know if it can be done. But we talked about adding upcoming programs to the sign out there. People drive by and it just says senior center and they go right on by. If you're saying bingo tomorrow, they'll pull in tomorrow. And if you're saying open reception for new members tomorrow, they'll pull in tomorrow.
And the difficult thing with that to keep in mind is, we do not have a dedicated full-time marketing person.
There it is right there. See Kyle is.
And unfortunately, in our marketing team, which consists of 2 part-time people that work in Parks and Rec, are not only Parks and Rec marketing, but they also, anytime there is a water main break, anytime there is a power outage and anything, like, they are the ones doing that. They're doing all the newsletters for the city. They're doing the website for the city, you know, that kind of stuff. So this has been brought up. It's just, unfortunately, when you look at your to-do list, it just, you
It's
know,
low on the totem pole.
We don't have
it
It's
is
on the
very low.
bottom of the.
Because that's why it's important with this communication piece, because, again,
So we don't disagree with you,
no,
but it's just, unfortunately,
that
There's only
sign,
enough,
that
you know,
board
as
is
much
only
time
as
as
good as the people behind it. And we've talked about that even with the new sign that's going up from City Hall. It doesn't do any good if it says welcome City of Stoughton all the time.
And I did throw past something the other day, some community or organization sign, and it was still like October 23rd, trunk or treat or something like that, so.
And
When
that's it too,
you're
yeah.
not current and relevant,
Oh, it's,
people ignore
Yeah.
it, and it gives you that look.
well, you always have to have new work, yeah, it's not.
but, you know, but what we could do potentially, you know, is on that sign, just put, you know, bingo, dominoes, fit,
Yeah.
you know, like that kind of
Yeah.
stuff. So
It's
people
very
say,
limited as to what you can put on there too.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell
It
you,
has to be
I already
quick. You know, what is it, 7 seconds we have to leave
Right, and
to?
you gotta remember,
We can't
someone's
scare the
driving
hell out
by,
of
you can't
people.
put a big long.
It's like 7
Mhm.
minutes, 7 seconds, our code says.
Yeah, not
Yes, they're
everybody's
free.
gonna
Yeah.
say
We don't want to
it,
scare the
but-
hell out of people, you know,
Yeah.
dinosaurs off the
Yeah.
road, goes down.
Correct.
I mean, now that we have that pond out front, we don't.
Yeah,
need
we don't
anybody-
need that. We don't need you swimming.
Yeah.
I don't know how to swim.
That
So
would be a
anyways,
good
I
scenery.
hope that gave you some
Swimming.
direction of what we're looking for, you know, and I appreciate you inviting me here for that, because that's the whole crux of the whole thing.
Okay.
Is how we make this house a home
But we do
in
need
communication.
a next step, and in line with that, and I'll bring something up. In Drew's seminar, he talked about if we get together as a group, not on a normal day, it could be a problem.
I don't think we're, I
No,
don't have to
you're
worry,
okay.
we don't have to worry about the
We're
sunshine law
okay.
with this group, do we? I don't think so.
As long as there's not voting.
Yeah, right, right.
Like you said, or quorum,
Yeah.
okay?
Yeah, as long as you have a quorum.
Yeah, as long as you have a quorum, it's fine.
Oh, okay.
Now,
So
you'll bring
basically, all of
back,
you guys couldn't get together.
Hmm?
Yes,
So we
like, all of
can-
you couldn't, yeah, like the whole committee couldn't get
Right.
together and have a meeting. Because that would be.
you can't have more than the 50%, it's like the sunshine laws, but to where you can get together, you two can work on something, you two can work on something. And then when you come back together as a whole group, this is what we explored and found.
Well, what are the, I know we wanna work on the postcards. Do we wanna make a list of things and then kinda have people volunteer?
And Kathy, as far as, a time frame, because you're coming up against the holidays, obviously, I
Yeah.
don't think we're gonna do it. You know, and you need some time. What are your thoughts as far as, if we did have a reception, we sent out postcards, time frame in your mind, are you thinking of anything in particular?
If we want to do a reception, you know, we could do that January, February probably better, you know,
Yeah,
just, you
give
know.
people enough
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, you know, but we could advertise that in the next newsletter, that kind of thing, you know, and just, you know, let people know, you know,
Mhm.
what we have going on, that kind of thing, you know,
Right, right.
whether we call it a reception, we call it an open house,
Right, right.
you know, but yeah, absolutely, we can do that, you know, in February timeframe. Because I know in March, you know, then if we wanted to, we could do the reception in February, and we could always do, you know, that resource fair, you know, expand the volunteer and job fair is what we were kind of thinking, you know, for seniors. But I do think that this is kind of open-ended where we could expand it and make it more of a resource fair as opposed to just a job and, you know.
But if some of us met, okay, say 1, 2, 3, 4 of us met.
How many are on?
There's
Seven, so
So
you can't have
More than 3.
Yeah, but the only thing is, she is on the committee, but she's gonna be at work, so she wouldn't be
She's an
there for
employee.
sure.
No,
She
no.
doesn't count.
Yeah,
It's just,
You
I
count,
like that.
believe me,
if
you
you
count.
want to show that her name is on here, that's
I
what I
know,
said.
but you know, take those 2 off.
Those two, the only two I take off?
That's the only 2. Yeah, so everybody
they
else,
just
so
say,
you
like,
can only get 3
liaison.
together at a time.
and Kyle's not on the committee.
Right, Kyle can show
Kyle
up there,
does.
right.
So, I mean, move them down a separate line, it says employees of the city of Stowe there involved, and so then they're not on the roster of the
Yeah.
committee, but we still want their contact information.
Mhm.
And then that would
But
separate.
3 of you can meet it.
Yeah.
Well, I'd like to, I mean, I'd be happy to lead a group, talk about, let's get together and talk about what he's asking for and how we want to best start going forth with that.
Yep.
And then if there's another group that wants to start tackling certain subjects, let's do that too.
Well,
What did you
we,
say?
I would think if we're gonna have a group of 3, we'd almost have to have a part of it, because we're gonna, you know, have different questions, and you're running the show.
you could be a
in sense, you know.
consultant, we could come up with
But
something.
you could also go ahead and
Just
meet
idea.
with a bunch of ideas
Right.
and then come back to Kathy or
Yeah.
Deanna or whatever,
That's-
say, hey, this is a case.
That's
Run it by them, and then when you have your standard meetings, you can go ahead and say, it makes a lot more efficient.
But,
to where we're working through.
okay, but our next meeting's not till February, but if we wanna do something for
No, we
February,
have to get together before.
Right.
we can have the meeting
Yes.
at another
At
meeting.
your house.
Yeah, if you could.
No, just.
As long as she's baking sweets.
Oh, she will. So, yeah, so I hopefully gave what you guys are kind of looking for. Well, how you can actually help.
Yeah, so let's divide up like into, what, 2 groups of 3? Somebody's not here,
And
right?
again, this is completely up to you, it's,
Yeah,
it's a
you don't
volunteer
have
thing, so if somebody says, I'm just not able to meet, during the day, or,
Yes.
Whatever, it's just not on my, I don't, my plate is full, that's okay too. So don't feel like
Everybody
you
has their little
must.
piece of what they can.
And I'm happy to be the extra person.
Yes.
Yes,
I'm
see-
not gonna try to be able to.
No, but you
Yes.
carry the expertise of what we're looking at as a
Yeah.
whole.
Mhm.
Okay?
How about us 3 and you and, I'm sorry, I forget.
Rob,
Rob and Manorma, the other 3.
And then again,
Manorma
that's
has a
if-
lot of good ideas.
She does.
She does.
how we wanna do it, like I said. I really, we gotta get that big picture up top and then filter it down, but that doesn't mean we already don't
Yeah, that's
have
what I was
things
gonna-
we're
that's what I was
start on.
gonna
That's
do.
right, yes.
Yeah.
Can I strip it up page tomorrow?
Yes, sure.
Not
I
gonna charge,
do it all
not gonna
the
charge. All right, we'll do that.
It's the next meeting's on my birthday.
Is it
Well,
really?
we're not gonna have to sing happy birthday to you. are we?
No, but I'll bring a cake.
Okay, that's good.
You shouldn't have to bring a cake on your birthday.
Oh, yeah, I always bring cake, desserts.
Is there anything else, Roger?
I was gonna ask Kyle if he had anything.
I'm good, I'm glad to be here, I can certainly help.
Your number should be on that list.
Yeah, it's on that,
Thank you.
yes.
On this list that she
Oh.
has, you
List.
should have all your numbers.
Oh, do you have that?
Yeah,
It's on the second page that I gave you.
Thank you.
Oh, God.
It's okay.
Did I get that pay? I don't think I got that.
Bring your
Yeah,
papers.
yeah, you
here's
did.
one, yeah. Okay, so
Okay,
Donna and who else is,
Drew
so
Drew?
you're Drew
and Donna.
and you're Donna and
Yeah.
I'm Roger.
Yep,
Okay, we got
So
it.
what are we doing here now?
So we're gonna,
Group A is what? Roger?
Roger, Drew and Donna,
Okay.
and group B would be Rob,
Audrey and Norma.
And then Norma?
Mhm.
Okay.
Oh, happy
And like I said, we'll start talking about getting together and really work on the high level stuff with the mayor.
Now, what do we want group A to work on and what do we want group B to work on? It should be 2 different things.
So I think, that, starting at top level organizational and, what do we think we want to do communication, and then group B, it sounds like start working on that.
That kind
That
of
event.
reception, yeah, that open house kind of
Yeah,
reception type thing.
okay.
What do you guys want?
So we'll do
see
the
with it.
event.
Well, if somebody wants to work on that postcard,
Well, and I think that.
Well,
that
the
might be
postcard
what
is
you
good.
want
design
with-
to get that to our market.
But ultimately it'll come out of that, working on that, putting that together, figuring out what it is and how we want to structure this.
Yeah, that communication piece, I think that,
So they'll do the communication.
yeah, so
Okay.
they'll look at that postcard, possibly that magnet,
That
like those
list,
kinds
list
of,
of numbers, that would be a nice thing.
Yeah, it sounds like you got that pretty well in mind, Rob, so that's good.
This isn't class 4 mail, I presume.
that is bulk mail.
Bulk mail, okay.
Okay,
It sounds like people get it, and if they don't get it, they're probably calling.
They
Yeah,
sure
like-
are, yeah. Uh-huh.
We do.
Let me tell you though, an experience I just had at the post office. About a month ago, I went to mail something and it was return receipt requested. It was actually taxes, so it was important. And she said, I just want to tell you, our mail's taken 2 weeks longer than normal.
I sent documents to Columbus, return receipt requested. It's to New York. It's 2 weeks to get to New York under that. It's first class. I got the notice from the post office that it was delivered. It was 2 weeks before I got the green card back. So Thank God, we're not supposed to have this.
Do you text?
But that's the new.
Donna?
Yes, it is.
Do you text? You text, yeah, we texted before. Okay.
To make.
Yeah, we'll
So you
set
guys feel
up
like
something,
you're-
we can do it at my house, I'll have to get my wife's.
If you guys can just get me
Got some
information.
Okay.
I know it's
No,
gonna be a
thank you. I
short
appreciate
term,
it.
but if we wanna do it in February, now we can always push it to
Well,
March.
yeah.
We can always push it to
I just
March.
worry about seniors, like in March, I go down to Florida, you know, I mean, a lot of seniors probably take off, you know what I mean?
So I mean, like, if you guys wanna come up with a date, that kind of thing,
Yeah,
it's just more a matter of when
You told me the time.
the newsletter will go to the printer
Yeah.
December 5th.
yeah, what are your recommendations as far as the date goes? I mean, what are you thinking? I mean, we're gonna need some time,
And that's it. I feel like we don't necessarily need to rush it.
No.
So I mean, even if you guys
Because
wanna look at
I don't want it to be
you know,
half-baked.
March, April, you know,
I,
kind of.
yeah,
Yeah.
And then that will give you much more
I
time,
April,
you know, to
I
are
think-
you
look at
gonna be
it.
back in?
yeah, I think just February, March is tough. I think so many
Yeah.
seniors
Yeah.
just take
Yes,
off.
yeah, and I think too, you know,
It's
that,
everyone's dream.
No,
and
we're
that's,
we're
you
not
know,
using it
maybe
for
that,
any other
that
thing.
spring, you know,
Yeah,
everybody, you
right,
know, where we kind of
Right,
let
because
the
in the
winter
snow, they
settle.
might not come out in the snow
Yeah.
either.
You know, and then we're gonna hit them with that survey and
Right,
enclose,
right.
you know, so it's
Yeah,
possible.
yeah.
Just
Yeah.
like you know.
Plus we have the house.
Yeah.
Exactly, I just, you know,
I
I feel
think
like.
it's better, more time, do it right.
Yeah, okay, so that sounds good to me.
And I'm spending, unfortunately, a ton of time visiting.
Yeah. Again, you know, we know that everybody is. This is not your.
Okay.
We know that.
Did you guys call the meetings?
We're going to, I think right now,
All right,
Roger.
move that we adjourn the meeting.
A second.
Perfect.
It's done.
Good. Thank you very much
Thank
for
you,
your
Mayor.
time. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thanks.